Off the coast of Somalia in 2009, this is a hell forgotten by God but ruled by pirates. An American flag flutters on the cargo ship Alabama. This merchant ship, flying that flag, once symbolized American naval power. It was a taboo no one dared to touch. But this centuries-old unspoken rule was about to be completely shattered that day. Captain Phillips was an experienced old sailor. He was staring at two blips on the radar that shouldn't be there. They were moving fast and aggressively, like sharks smelling blood heading straight for them. Phillips felt a sinking feeling in his chest. In these dangerous waters, just over 400 kilometers from the Somali coast, the answer was obvious. He decisively ordered a hard left rudder to test their intentions. The small boats on the radar immediately locked onto the cargo ship's course. Phillips' suspicion was confirmed. The crisis had officially arrived. He ordered the first officer to contact the U.S. Maritime Emergency Line immediately. At the same time, he told the chief engineer to push the engines to their limit. But the heavy cargo ship was like a slow-moving giant compared to the agile speedboats. Thinking quickly, Phillips grabbed the radio. He used the open channel to mimic a warship and issued a stern warning.
By two pilots with a possible mothership following, we require immediate assistance. Request air support if possible.
Copy. Copy, Alabama, beware, a gunship is in the air, ETA your position, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, thank you, 237.
This bluff successfully scared one of the small boats away. But the leader on the other speedboat, a man named Moive, was unmoved. His eyes locked onto their prey. Soon, Moive commanded the speedboat to chase full speed again. This time they gave Phillips no chance. Bullets from assault rifles whistled across the hull of the cargo ship. Phillips immediately activated the anti-pirate protocol. High-pressure water cannons shot up around the ship, creating a water barrier. This should have been an effective defense, but fate played a cruel joke at this moment. An unsecured water cannon latch became the steel giant's only fatal flaw. The pirates swarmed the gap like flies. Phillips fired a flare. Burning magnesium streaked through the air at 1,200 degrees, trying to drive them back. But the pirates pressed on with even more bullets, keeping him down. The first officer rushing to repair the water cannon fled under a hail of gunfire, failing in his attempt. The pirates brought out a special ladder and hooked it firmly onto the Alabama's side. Phillips still made his final stand, but soon he realized the pirates had successfully boarded. He immediately ordered everyone to hide in the engine room. In the bridge, Phillips remained unusually calm in front of the pirates. He opened the safe and took out the $30,000 inside. But clearly the pirates were not satisfied with just this cash.
$30,000? What am I? Do I look like a beggar?
I want to search the ship.
Phillips realized he had met a formidable opponent. The real game was just beginning. Phillips quietly pressed the intercom.
We'll start up here.
He informed the crew of the pirate search route and hinted for them to cut the power. He spoke loudly on purpose, alerting any nearby crew who didn't have time to hide. When they searched by the kitchen door, he saw water on the floor. The first officer hiding inside immediately held his breath. Phillips had already realized someone was inside. He used his body to shield the first officer and quickly gave a subtle signal.
Careful in here in the bare feet. You could cut him on almost anything.
After they left, the first officer instructed the crew to sprinkle broken glass on the floor. When they reached the engine room, a barefoot pirate stepped onto it. The sharp pain immediately disabled him. Phillips suggested taking him for treatment first. Meanwhile, the crew had successfully snuck to the control room and cut the power. Alert Moive noticed something was off. He had Phillips take the injured companion for treatment, while he himself delved into the dark engine room alone to continue the search. But the crew hiding in the shadows had no intention of giving up. When Moive went alone into the lower deck, they quickly subdued him. When Phillips returned to the bridge, the first officer's voice came through the intercom.
We have your captain. We have your captain and his weapon. We want to make a trade. And you get out.
The situation reversed instantly. Phillips proposed a win-win plan to the captured Moive. The pirate speedboat was gone. Phillips offered the ship's lifeboat and let them take the $30,000 and leave. Moive had no choice but to agree. Phillips led them to the lifeboat at the stern. Both sides were ready to exchange hostages, but the pirates told Phillips to first teach them how to operate the lifeboat. It seemed like a demand he couldn't refuse. For the crew's safety and this last chance for peaceful resolution, Phillips stepped into the lifeboat. He patiently taught them how to start it, how to steer it.
You swing with the door, right? Send them on in, I'm coming out.
When Moive was released into the lifeboat, Phillips turned to leave, but the hatch behind him slammed shut. At this moment, Phillips became the most valuable pawn in the pirates' hands. Once news spread, the world focused on this tiny lifeboat in the Indian Ocean. The nearest U.S. Navy destroyer, the Bainbridge, was speeding at full throttle, but it would take at least 40 hours to reach them, and the lifeboat would take at least 60 hours to reach the Somali coast. A race against time quietly began on the ocean. The lifeboat was cramped and unbearably hot. The pirates and Phillips were tightly bound by fate. Muse kept trying to contact the mother ship, but there was no response. Behind them, the Alabama quietly followed, guiding the U.S. Navy's coordinates. Phillips tried to use goodwill to gain breathing space. He bandaged the young pirate's wounds, and even earned a bit of his respect. He used his humanity as his only weapon against these beasts. Soon, the U.S. military's powerful intelligence network swung into action. They identified the pirates and even located their tribal elders. Orders from the higher-ups were absolute. They could not let the pirates take Phillips into Somalia. Meanwhile, SEAL Team 6 received orders. As the world's top counter-terror unit, they would fly out from Virginia, crossing 13,000 kilometers to rescue Phillips. But on the lifeboat, conditions worsened. Their drinking water ran out. The heat and thirst pushed everyone to the brink of collapse. The pirates started fighting among themselves. The irritable Najee nearly pulled the trigger on Phillips several times. But then a ship's horn sounded. A massive warship appeared before their eyes. The U.S. began negotiations. They delivered water and food, using powerful psychological pressure to chip away at the pirates' will. They even called out each pirate's name and their tribe. This all-knowing intimidation terrified Muse.
We have spoken with the elders of your tribe, and they are coming here to negotiate a deal in exchange. But this has to be done in confidence. We don't want anyone to see the exchange, and neither do the elders. But we need someone to come aboard and negotiate the deal.
To buy time, they wove an invisible web of lies. At 4 a.m., SEALs silently parachuted behind the warship. Phillips tried to jump into the sea under the cover of darkness. But in the high waves, he was quickly caught by a pirate who grew up by the sea, and he was beaten. Eventually, the U.S. used the tribal elder as a reason to defuse the tension. The pirates believed them. They tied the lifeboat to the ship. Muse agreed to board the warship for negotiations. High-powered spotlights instantly lit up the lifeboat's area like daylight. In the blinding light, the three pirates couldn't see the warship. In the darkness, snipers were already in position. They needed to kill all three pirates at the same time, but the waves made the shots even more difficult.
Lifeboat's under tow. We're at 5 knots, sir.
Copy that. We need 3 targets green.
Inside the lifeboat, Phillips sensed something. He took advantage of the pirates' chaos to write a letter to his family.
Stop writing, Irish. If it's this, we could kill me and you both.
Irritable Najee noticed and angrily tied him up. Phillips could no longer withstand the immense pressure. In anger, he fought back against the pirates. The lifeboat was suffocating with tension. Phillips' voice came clearly through the bugs to each sniper.
Can't you see that?
Let's reacquire targets, weapons release on my command.
Die, family!
The pirates lost control. Najee pressed his gun to Phillips' temple.
Stop the tow.
Roger, stop the tow.
Execute.
Almost simultaneously, the three snipers fired. The three pirates in the lifeboat were instantly killed. Captain Phillips was finally rescued after 5 days of harrowing captivity. Transferred to the warship, his emotions completely broke. The man who had stayed calm throughout the crisis cried and shook like a child. Muse was captured by the U.S. He would be sent to the country he once admired. But freedom and opportunity awaited him no longer. He faced 33 years of imprisonment. He became the first person in 2 centuries in the U.S. to be convicted of piracy. There was no true winner in this story. Captain Phillips returned home, but the trauma would last forever. The pirates who were killed were once fishermen. They were ordinary people pushed to the brink by globalization, war, and poverty. Global economic exploitation took away their livelihood. When the right to survive was stripped away, when the sea became a free highway for international shipping, they had no choice but to become pirates. They were not born evil. They were embodiments of poverty and despair. This is not just Captain Phillips' story, it is a tragic tale of humanity, survival, and hopelessness in our time.